Roger, you got cut off by the break.
Yeah, as I was saying, we went to the regional airport for a terrorist drill, and after we got right in the middle of it, they announced that these terrorists was militia, American militia. And soon after that, me and a few other guys resigned from the Marine Corps League. And I've sort of been blacklisted from the Marine Corps League and the VFW. And I find, and I'm sorry to say this, but the World War II guys, the Korean veterans, and the early Vietnam veterans are so brainwashed that you cannot reason with them. They cannot believe that their country would do things to them. And I try to reach out to them, but there's just really
I'll tell you what, Roger, stay there. We're going to let Dr. Bob Bowman go. We appreciate him being gracious. I'm going to come back, and I want you to explain this, because it's on record for decades, but now it's accelerating that they're training the military to take the American people on. And I want to discuss this and go to more veterans and more military people that are calling in right now. Dr. Bob Bowman, I wanted to get you on also about the secret space plane blast-off and what you think was going on there, but we'll talk to you again in the near future. We've been so honored to have you spend this time with us today, sir.
Well, thank you, and keep at it, Alex.
We'll try. I was going to get into other subjects. I'm sorry this broke. We've got to warn the people, but we couldn't have a better guest than you here, because you've been warning about this so intensely. Thank you, Dr. Bob Bowman. Roger, Tom, Brian, Chad, Carl, we're going to go to you after this break. Former military, current military, police who've been part of these drills. Your call straight ahead. All over the country for decades, I've interviewed Marine Corps captains. I've interviewed generals. I've talked to high-level former and current Pentagon people many, many times. Federal marshals, state police gave us the MIAC, Homeland Security documents over a year ago, saying the #1 threat, the government says, is gun owners, returning veterans, conservatives, people that have American flags on their cars, and that we're going to attack law enforcement, military, and IRS buildings. Then they bust a few militias that they set up to create the illusion that it's all about to happen. Bill Clinton comes out and says, gee, I hope the Tea Party shut up, or it's going to cause somebody to blow up a federal building again. And we then have all the eyewitnesses and people that were at the Alfred P. Murrah building with McVeigh and feds in there planting gray sticks of butter, and they didn't know what it was. I mean, I've interviewed the foreman of the grand jury, Hoppy Heidelberg. The FBI came to his house with guns and said, shut up, stop talking about it. They killed Cop of the Year, who was a witness, and saved a bunch of people because he saw it. I mean, they're not playing games here. This is not a radio show. It's not entertainment. It's not Alex Jones having fun. I'm exhausted. All I think about is spending time with my family, but I was going to go home today and take my kids to the park, or I'm not even doing that now. I'm going to stay here and put out an emergency video trying to warn people. We've got criminal offshore banks. I played the CFR speech, the head of the European Central Bank saying, we have worked for world government. We are now establishing it. The taxes will be paid directly to the banks. Ha, ha, ha. World government. And then I had Nightline here 2 days ago laughing at me when I was playing them world government clips, saying, well, that's not what they mean. They've stole 28 trill plus in the last year and a half. They're taking over everything. They're openly in the news saying they're going to take your pension funds. All right, I'm going to try to shut up, and I'm going to try to go to these veterans and police and others that are on hold here. And we've got an active duty, folks, Chris. I'm going to try to get to everybody, but it's so touching. And I've got so many of these callers now, I can't even keep track of them. Who was the caller I've been talking to? Yeah, Roger. And everything Roger's saying, I've actually seen in separate documents. Rex 84, training to use the military, FEMA camps, the Emergency Centers Act, the Top-Off 2 drills, NLEO 9, NLEO 10. I mean, the military sent it to us and to others, last year, that in the Fed rallies with Ron Paul and others, myself, it specifically mentioned Texas and Dallas. When I was there, you see it in the Obama deception, bullhorning the Federal Reserve, talking about how they're a banking dictatorship. Army, regular Army was there, and they said, don't let them know you're Army. They may be terrorists and may kill you. They teach the military And there's all these great Americans of all races, religions out there calling for sovereignty. And there was army there, and being told that we would kill them or may kill them if they told us they were military. Now, folks, that is brainwashing. And when you read these documents, and the latest, this comes out of the Carrier Journal. This comes out of Carrier Journal, Louisville, Kentucky. And then we've got it at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. They just report it dryly. It's like that Ithaca newspaper in New York talking about martial law. You've got in Illinois. You've got in California. You've got in New York State the last 3 months, from Schenectady to you name it. In fact, that was in the news. Here it is right here. Here it is right here, Chicago Tribune. 2 Chicago state reps say bring in National Guard. Blagojevich a year ago, before he got disgraced, said we're going to use National Guard for gun confiscation door to door. I played his press conference. I mean, look at New Orleans. They went in the high and dry areas and took everybody's guns. And the people are still in denial about that. I mean, folks, do you understand that they are trying to warp the brains of the troops? They're telling them that the American conservatives and libertarians are going to kill them. And they're going to stage events to make that a real occurrence so they can use them against us. And we were talking to Roger, and then I'm going to everybody else. And Roger, if you just joined us, was talking about he was in the Marine Corps League. They took him out to an airport, and I've been at airport drills in Brooksville, Florida. They had feds jumping out of the bushes trying to light things on fire and blame it on me. We've got video of me in the neighborhood where they were doing military drills and women coming out saying, are you Alex Jones? I was told not to talk to you by the Army, by Special Forces. And Special Forces guys in plain clothes, you heard Mike Hansen on air with us, just jumping out of the bushes at night, lighting fires, and I'm like running over, stopping them. No, don't blame me. I mean, this is what I live. This is what I do. Folks, I've had Special Forces in plain clothes in a Target parking lot tell me they're Special Forces and they're going to get me if I don't shut up years ago. I've had guys pound on me, attack me in a parking lot, telling me shut up as they were breaking my nose. I have been there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, they're ready to go after the American people, and their #1 target in these new documents is veterans. Don't you understand how treasonous this is? Because veterans are good people. Police are good people on average, and they understand. And they saw the feds demonize us, patriots, and call us kooks for talking about a new world order for decades. And now they've seen it all come true, and they're waking up. Okay, I'm going to shut up. It's just, this is so real. This doesn't have to happen. The country doesn't have to fall to tyranny. Finish up what you were saying, Roger, in Missouri, about just a few years ago, they get the Marine Corps League out to aid the military at a base, and they say, we're not fighting foreign terrorists, we're getting ready for militia. Go ahead.
Yes, like I said, me and a few others eventually resigned over things like that. But there's one good thing, Alex, especially our governor, Jay Nixon here in Missouri, probably woke more veterans up than any of us could by putting out that MIAC report. Seriously, I don't think he'll get reelected because 4 years ago, people just like you, they called me a nut. And they don't do it very loudly, but I've had many of them come to me and say, you was right. You was right. So we're winning. Hang in there. Yeah,
we're winning. That's why Clinton's up there with veiled threats about blowing stuff up to blame it on us.
But they're showing their hand.
Well, you know what? All these vets out there, they need to understand that the government is going to come for the guns. And they better understand our country's been taken over by foreign banks, and that's why this is not our government. These guys out there that say this can't happen here, it is happening here. It is, and it's accelerating. God bless you. I appreciate your call, Roger. Okay, there's a lot of military calls here, and I'm going to go to Brian, Carl, Chris, just a bunch of other people. But Chris is in Tennessee, active military. This is in Police State 4. We interviewed the state rep. Remember last year? There were suddenly regular Army with Marine Corps checkpoints with Homeland Security shutting down highways, and the governor said don't do it, and they still did it. And it was on the local news, so maybe he's going to call in about that. Let's go ahead and go to Chris in Tennessee, active duty. Chris, what can you tell us?
Hi, Alex.
been a listener for about 5 years. I'm also part of Oath Keepers and We Are Change Memphis. I was actually stationed in Florida when that happened, and I personally haven't participated in any of those types of
Wait a
drills.
minute, you were in Florida when I was there?
I was in Florida. I was stationed in Florida when they did the martial law checkpoint in Tennessee as the governor.
Okay, go ahead. I thought when I went to cover the Brooksville drill to take over the town, and they had feds running around trying to frame me. But go ahead.
My brother is also in the Army. He's part of the 3rd Brigade in Fort Stewart, Georgia, which he's not part of the 1st Infantry, but the 1st Infantry is the unit that is deployed in the United States for, the civil unrest.
Yeah, that's the first cohort, 1st Spear Centurion group is basically what it is that forms the heart of the 400,000 group that they're building, according to Army Times, to occupy the U.S.